Is pure evil, but you'd never know it by looking at him. But when you hear him, that's another story. His killing field was Milwaukee, and he got away with murder for more than a decade. But how could any of this happen?
Jeffrey Dahmer is quite possibly one of the most disgusting human beings that you may have never even heard about. The Milwaukee, Wisconsin native has always been thinking about murder and violence from a very young age, and it continued all the way throughout his life. It all started when he was just 4 years old. He had a surgery for a double hernia that would physically and mentally change his body forever and develop strong disorders. At this point in his life, he had no socialization at all. His parents had just gotten divorced, he had no friends, and nobody to talk to his situations about. At age 14, he developed a serious drinking problem that would continue throughout his high school and his college career. At this point in Jeffrey's life, his high school career had become much of a blow to him, but he did end up enrolling at Ohio State University for more than half of a semester before dropping out. When he did drop out, his father ordered him to go serve time in the Army, which he did, but he also carried severe problems when he went. His drinking problem that he had developed at age 14 really got the best of him when he ended up murdering 2 fellow soldiers in the Army. At this point, he was then discharged from the military. When Jeffrey was discharged from the military, his relationship with his father grew even more weaker than it ever was. We do have special footage of an interview with Leonard Dahmer, Jeffrey's father, about his relationship with his son when he was first born.
He was very exuberant. He liked to wrestle. He liked to run around and ham it up for the camera. And he liked to play with kids. He liked to get together with them. And he was very outgoing. He seemed to want to play with things and feel things and get to know their texture. And he seemed to be very much in tune with what's around him. He just wanted to know what was going on.
It was pretty crazy that he ever had a normal relationship with his father, but what was even more crazy was the crimes that he committed.
The crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer made the world cringe. 17 murders. Cannibalism. Sex with the dead. A man who made his Milwaukee apartment into a violent and erotic death chamber.
It shortly became no secret that the crimes that Jeffrey Dahmer had committed were completely gruesome. He committed 17 total murders, including 15 in 5 years, and he was also a sex offender, mainly towards younger children. He was then arrested in 1992 and ordered the 15 consecutive life sentences for his actions. When he was serving his time in jail, he was murdered by his inmate, Christopher Scarver, as we go to Chris himself for more information on the story.
He pulled out the newspaper clipping he had obtained and presented it to Dahmer, asking him if he'd really committed those horrible crimes. At that point, Dahmer tried to make his escape from the locker room, but things turned violent. Scarver took out a metal bar which he'd stolen earlier from the prison's weight room and proceeded to strike Dahmer with it, crushing his skull.
Dahmer's actions were very dark, and for more on deviants, we send it over to our very own Matt Camp for more information.
The theory that most supports the case of Jeffrey Dahmer is the control theory. The control theory occurs when a person has weak bonds with the people they know, including family, friends, or peers in general. This theory happens often with people that don't have a lot in life, which leads them to become more deviant later on in their life, which suits Jeffrey Dahmer's situation well. The control theory supports the case of Jeffrey Dahmer the most because of his upbringing and weak bonds. There has been countless amounts of evidence that support Jeffrey had weak bonds with those closest to him. Jeffrey never really had any bonds other than his parents and immediate family, and the control theory states that the stronger your attachment to groups or individuals, the more likely you are to conform. This case of Jeffrey at a young age matches up perfectly with the control theory.
Thank you, Matt, and that'll do it for tonight's segment. We appreciate you tuning in, and we hope to see you next time.